All right, today we're going to talk about 5 tips for a successful green card interview, Brian.
Yeah.
But before we do that, let's introduce ourselves. My name is Sam Shihab.
I'm Brian Burke. We're from the law firm of Shihab Burke here in Dublin, Ohio. We are immigration lawyers. We practice immigration law, for clients throughout the United States and, of course, around the world.
5 tips for a successful interview with USCIS. It could be an adjustment of status, it could be any type of interview, but there's really 5 steps that really...
Universal ones.
Yes, yeah. So what do you think is the first one, Brian?
Prepare. Seems a bit obvious, but there's so much to prepare for in a USCIS interview. First thing for me is understanding your case. To understand your case is to understand why you're being asked by USCIS to come in for an interview. What are they trying to figure out by talking to you in person? What are they trying to learn about you from you, the person, rather than just reading the papers that you sent them? That could range from whether you're there for a family immigration case, an employment immigration case, a naturalization case, an asylum interview.
Read the forms.
Yeah.
Read the application, right? If you have an application, just sit down with it, sit on the couch on an evening and just read it.
Yeah.
Read it. Read all of it.
The questions that get asked in your actual application are really going to be reflective as to what USCIS is really interested in hearing from you in person, for sure.
Yeah. So that's prepare. And the second one, Brian, I'm thinking about is rehearse. And rehearsing has to do with, okay, so let's do a context. Let's say a marriage case.
Sure.
What they're going to talk to you about? They're going to talk about the relationship, okay? Rehearse. Hey, sweetheart, when did we meet first time? What do you think?
Who is your family? What is your bedroom
Do you remember my best friend's name?
Name the kids,
Yeah. In the employment context,
It's going to be about your work.
what's my job description?
How did you join the company?
Who did I work for?
Yeah.
And you can just have fun, like with your spouse. You can have like a trivia. You can do a trivia together. Do you remember what did we eat? Do you remember the first restaurant we went to? No, I don't. Are you kidding me? It's that restaurant. Oh boy, yeah, I remember. This is what happened. This is what we did. How did we meet the first time? Do you remember?
Yeah.
What was it? So it's kind of refreshing your mind.
Yeah, a mock interview for yourself.
Yeah, and have fun with it. Whether you can do it at home or with work with your colleagues. Just it's fun. It's not a big deal. But rehearse is my number 2 thing that you should do to prepare for an interview, Brian.
Number 3, then, I got organization. Organization can manifest in several ways. Everybody who goes to a USCIS interview is going to be bringing documents with them. Documents to show that you can meet whatever requirement you're dealing with for the interview. And part of being well prepared for an interview is being smart about your documents. I like to go to an office store, get one of those beautiful plastic accordion folders with lots of sub-tabs, and really organize your documents because, they may ask you for some, and you don't want to be the guy who's fumbling. I can't find these things. Those officers are trying to do a job, and you want to be efficient with their time and give them what they need when they need it.
Yeah. Organize is a big one.
Yeah.
And part of organizing is knowing what they need.
Yeah.
Okay, so you need to ask yourself, what do they need? And a lot of time in the interview form, they tell you, read it carefully, and like in the family context.
No, they'll tell you what to bring. It's just read the notice,
Yeah.
Organize, your documents per the categories that they have on there, for example.
In the family case, in terms of organizing, I'd love to bring an album, pictures. Here it is, the wedding, here it is, it's part of it, because they love to look at pictures. In employment context, bring your paychecks, bring,
Taxes, W-2s, things like that.
Yep.
Now, organization, also can apply to the self. I've been in the USCIS waiting room before, a lot of times before. And you'll see people there in ripped up jeans and tank tops. Organize yourself. Look the best version of yourself.
You're taking mine. Mine is number 4. It's called mindset, Brian. It has in it.
Well, mindset. Well. Here.
The mindset for me, which is mine one, you're taking it from me, so I'm taking over here.
Okay. All right. Well, Sam, I don't wear my mind on my sleeves. I wear my. Well, I'll go. Go ahead.
Okay, but you're right. So mindset is the next one that Brian wanted to take from me. So mindset is, you have to have the proper mindset going into this, and it begins with really how you look.
Sure.
This is an important day for you. I don't care what the interview is about. So you need to look good. You need to look good. You know, you don't have to put a tuxedo on, but clearly showered, shaved, and a nice jacket and trousers is a great start.
Yeah.
With the mindset,
I
right?
mean, when the officer goes back after you've left their office to try to think about your case, make a decision, I want them to, you know, to have a positive image of you in your head. Oh, I remember, you know, so-and-so. They looked good. They respected my authority by, you know, showing up looking like, you know, they didn't just roll out of bed.
Yeah. So that's one thing on the mindset I have here. The other thing about mindset is understanding where you're going and what you're doing. So, and this is something you should pay attention to. So, number one, the officer is doing his or her job. You're doing your job. The officer is not doing you a favor for the interview, and you need to walk in respecting the officer because he is really representing the United States of America at that moment. So you have to understand that you don't have to beg, you need to be nice, but you also need to protect yourself because there could be misunderstanding. The officer could be inquiring on a lot of things.
Sam, you're stepping on the next topic, the last one, mine, number 5.
Okay.
And you know, number 5 for me, I think is the most really important interview, USCIS interview prep tip, is understand that you are going in there for a conversation, not an interrogation.
Yes.
Now, a government officer is going to ask you questions, and you are going to be providing answers to them. But understand that, you know, you are not there to be a yes man or yes woman. You are there to give answers to questions and give them confidently, and know when you don't know an answer. And if you don't understand a question, you know, clarify. So, for example, if the officer asks you a question which you don't understand or has a word you don't know in it, ask them to rephrase the question, because you don't want to be answering, no matter what type of interview it is, it's important. You're there for a reason, to give government information, and you don't want to be answering questions that you don't really understand. So that includes, you know, asking them to rephrase the question, asking them to repeat the question, or just, you know, so to make sure that whatever answer you give is one that you can be comfortable with.
And part of that, Brian, is being comfortable with the answer, I don't remember, or I don't know. Don't be forced in answering any question that you're really not clear about. So they may try to kind of press you, say, hey, what was the weather like when you first met your wife? I don't remember the weather. You know, whom did you work for between June of 1981 and January of 1982? I don't remember. So I don't remember is a legitimate.
And because if you really don't remember and you give an answer, well, you're kind of fudging your answer. And the problem is, one of the first things they'll do for any sort of interview you go to USCIS with is they will have you raise your hand and swear to the truth and accuracy of what you're saying there. So you shouldn't say something as true to the U.S. government if it's not really true in your heart, because if they think otherwise, if they have other information that would conflict with what you said, if there's enough of that for them, or just a little bit of that for them, it could sometimes really blow up in your face.
So that's the tip, Brian. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's the number one most important takeaway. Yeah.
Guys, have a great day until next time.